What's going on, everyone? Episode number 38, Tales from the Ticket. As always, we're here every single Thursday, 1 to 2 p.m. Talk about strategies, talk syndicates, have guests on. No guest this week. I mean, last week, if you guys did not catch it, strongly suggest you go back and watch episode number 37 with David Miller. But Eric, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
I am doing good. Been up early. When you have elderly parents, there's a little bit of, you're going to be a new parent. But when you have elderly parents, there's a little bit of a role reversal. So you see me dealing with my dad every day. That's what I've been dealing with for the last 4 hours on the phone with the dentist because he needs to get his teeth worked on and he can't hear because he refuses to get hearing aids.
It's like my mom refuses to get hearing aids.
But I will say this for all those watching. I'm 53 years old. I have an 86-year-old father, 80-year-old mother, 87-year-old stepfather. There's a lot of 53-year-olds that have no parents. So I'm not complaining. Right. I'm going to just I'll watch the YouTube video today. This is relevant to you, Mr. Safir. So my son will be 21 on Monday, February 9th. And the guy was saying that the first child, regardless of the sex, is the child that it's your birthday of becoming a parent, which I didn't really think of it like that. So I have 2 children, right? So I'll be a father for 21 years on Monday, as opposed to saying he's turning 21.
That's crazy. When did I meet you? How old was he?
Oh,
he was what?
Like 5 or 6. Yeah, like 8 under 10. Yeah. I mean, you've been with me for almost 15 years. Yeah. It was a baby. Yeah, he was a baby. He was coming up to your kneecaps. Now he's taller than you.
It's crazy how time flies, man.
So, it's funny because I get all these text messages on my main Dying Club channel. I had a losing night last night. And it's like, it's interesting. The biggest bettors that I have, right, doesn't make them better than the smallest bettors that I work with. Like Brett sends me a text this morning, totally, completely based on money, not emotion. The other guy, I'm not going to say his name, you know who he is, sent me a text this morning. Doesn't even say anything. I'm just talking about crypto. Just like we're talking, where he making his forecast because he's a big crypto whale. So it's interesting. And then I get these, and again, no clients that are disrespectful, but it's interesting. If you're so high, this is what I don't understand on the psychological aspect of this. Your life's going to change in the next 2 months, right? I literally put 0 mental energy into the results of the games, meaning don't care. When I say don't care, it's the wrong word. 0 emotion to the outcome of the games, win or lose, because I'm too busy. The games are just a means to an end, like any other investment. And I see that people just really have a lot. I don't know if people have a lot of time on their hands or they have a lot of time to devote to be hyper-focused into this. Man, I'm on the phone with doctors for the dad this morning and then doctors for the mom yesterday, and she's got a bad back and he's got bad teeth. And then I got the kids, and then, like, who has time to obsess over games that are over? Like somebody sent me a text, we need to make back yesterday's loss. And
what's funny, it's funny you bring that up because I feel like we look at it the opposite, which is we obsess about getting the games in.
Correct.
When we get them in. So if you guys, for those that were not here last week, David Miller was here, who's one of the most talented pro bettors, runs very large syndicates, runs a huge betting operation that has nothing to do with the pick side of it, even though he does offer it, but that's really a subsidiary of what he really does full time. Him and Micah say this all the time. They get off by getting the best price, getting the game down, meaning betting the game and knowing that they have an advantage on the price gets them excited, not actually watching the game and watching the outcome. So, because they know if their homework is done correctly long term, it's a matter of volume. Like Dave said, 1,000 games is the minimal you could judge performance based on a larger scale. And we can't get somebody to get over one day, right? So, like yesterday, for example, I had 2 groups come in early in the day on my Sharp Basketball channel, and they came in with the Spurs and the under. And then an hour later, they announced a bunch of injuries, which we thought it would happen, but we didn't think it was going to be that substantial. The Spurs line moved 10 points. The total moved 6 points. So at that point, I was excited about the bet, not because I had the Spurs in the under. It's because I had 10 points to the plus in my price. It's like I bought the stock at the absolute low, knowing I'm going to get a good return on the price. So, that's the advantage of constantly scalping the market, constantly finding value, and then you just let the chips play out, right? You just let the chips play out. What are you doing? A pour over?
Doing a pour over. How to get the rest of it. Go ahead.
But so the creativity and the excitement for us comes during the day. That's when we're engaged, tuned, understanding that we're constantly trying to find the best price for the game that we're betting. And then the nighttime, it just all, the chips fall the way they fall.
Well, and the other thing, and you'll continue. The other thing is, like, a lot of clients are involved in the crypto markets, right? So there's a high, and the reason why, just for people that are new to this, pre-legalized sports wagering, basically the way you get your money in the sports betting accounts is with crypto. So it's not like people are using crypto. It's not like a lot of it is an investment. It's just a method of transfer of money in and out of the offshore sports books. I mean, I'm looking at it. I mean, we're making a new low in Bitcoin as we speak right now, 66,000. We're going to get into the 65s in a second. So it seems that it's just the appetite for risk is just more understood in other financial markets versus sports. Like I lost 4 games on my Dime Club channel yesterday, right? 1% risk. That's 4 units. You'd think Bitcoin went from 120 to 60 the way some of these guys act. It's like I'm sitting here looking at a chart. It's just a complete blood red arrow down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So that you can do a chart by daily, minute, 5 minutes, month. So I'm looking at a monthly chart. And if I turned my screen, which I'm not going to give you guys vertigo, 5 straight candles down, 5 months. It's like basically losing 5 months straight. But if you go back 20 months, you have 10 winning months and 5 lose. You have 15 winning months and 5 losing months. 10 winning months in a row, 5 losing months in a row. And this is what I mean by real variance and real trading. This is why when you zoom out on a chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 months, winning months in a row. If you're invested in Bitcoin, that's almost 2 years, 5 losing months in a row. So you got to know how to manage risk. That's like Brett sent me a text this morning. It's all about managing risk.
Well, the thing is, it's like, but then also it's when is the entry point? When is that person?
Every day is somebody's.
But if that person is joining 18 months ago, it's a substantially different
I get it.
ROI than if you joined 6 months ago.
But that goes back to money management within your money.
I totally understand that. So the real skill here is managing risk. The games, if you have the right data feed and you're getting the right information from these guys that are continuously doing this, and I'm not talking about this is seasons, this is year after year after year after year. And look, call a spade a spade. Al has had one of his
So I
biggest.
talked to Al yesterday. So Al, see, this is where I am going to not do what gamblers do, which is they use emotions. Like a gambler would say, Al is getting crushed. Al is killing me. Al, blah, 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 blah. No, Al has had 33 years as a professional sports bettor, of which he's had 25 winning seasons, of which he's had 5 winning seasons in a row up to this losing season. So he's 5-1 in the last 6. He's 25-7 in the last 33. So I had a gentleman text me this morning and he said, I'll read it to you, his exact text. I mean, nicest, again, somebody that, is betting 1,000 a unit in a different world where it's just playing the long game. He said, how is Al feeling about the last couple months here? I said, I talked to him yesterday. He said he doesn't really change his process. He's had 25 winning years and 7 losing years in his career. So he stays positive with his system of handicapping. His response was 10-4. Has he ever had any 2 consecutive losing years? I said, not that I'm aware of. He goes, good news. That means next year should be fire. LOL. And then the conversation literally switched to crypto.
Dimitri, what's up, brother?
What's up?
It is. That the truth is the way to have the
this
least
guy
amount of pain.
And this guy has been limited in his accounts because of certain business dealings with Mike and the like.
Right.
So
he gets it, but he gets it.
He knows how hard it is, even when you're winning, that they make it hard for you to actually win because you get limited.
And it is. It's the way patience is very boring. The excitement, and that's just the way that socially the way the sports books brand themselves with their media campaigns is parlay betting. Everything is like they have this vision where they just take you down the hallway and they take you down this path and you end up with a parlay. And the reason why is the constant, literally some of the biggest social media channels are posting parlay tickets. People show the losses. People show the bad beats. People show the good beats. People show the big payouts. So it constantly is going to entice you to believe that you could be the next entertainment Powerball winner, is what a parlay is. We say this week after week. If you're betting parlays, you are simply entering, and I'm talking about the big ones. I mean, obviously the smaller ones don't have as big of a Powerball payout, but there's ones out there that literally it's like winning a Powerball with entertainment. You're watching a team and you're watching a player need 5 more yards rushing for you to hit a 100x payout. I mean, that is what these sports books push you and entice you. And when you go into the legal sports book, it always says on the top of the page, the most bet parlay today, play this parlay, you get a 30% free boost. It's constantly enticing you to have unfavorable odds. And look, a lot of them hit on an everyday basis. A lot of them do hit on an everyday basis. But for the ones that do hit, there's 100 of them or 1,000 of them that don't hit. So statistically, the sports books know if you're going to constantly play parlays, with spread sports, you're getting the worst odds. Now, when you take away and you're doing parlays, which there's only one sport that I highly recommend doing parlays. Do you know what that is, Eric?
Of course, baseball.
No. You're
Correlated.
still not getting. No, not correlate parlays.
Okay, go ahead.
Sport. What other sport? I'll give you a hint. It's a sub-market sport.
Oh, UFC. Yeah.
Yes. So the reason why UFC is such a tangible product that you could parlay with is because you could take a favorite and you could turn it into an underdog based on the style of fight. So you could take literally a minus 200 favorite and you could predict the outcome of it either being a TKO, a submission, or a decision, or you could do double chance. If you believe that fight is going to be set up for a knockout, you could take that minus 200 and you could turn them into an underdog. Now you could tag those together with 4 or 5 other fighters, and you're actually getting real parlay odds because you're taking favorites, you're turning them into underdogs. There's a lot of value if you know what you're doing in UFC. Outside of that, if you're doing parlays, completely entertainment. I mean, I have a close friend of mine who's a semi-pro that has made a substantial amount of money only parlaying UFC. And he'll even tell you it's still a lottery ticket, but you're getting true odds when you're turning these favorites into underdogs. It's like you're basically taking the Dodgers that are minus 250 and you're turning them into a plus 110 based on how they're going to win the game. Well, in baseball, you can't do that, obviously. But with UFC, you can. And styles make fights. And in a lot of these UFC matches, you could see the outcome of not a winner or loss, but how the actual fight is going to end. And it could end based on one punch. So unlike a sporting event where you're dealing with 11 people, 10 people, 7 people on the field for an entire game, you now have a one-on-one chance and you have a puncher's chance based on the style of the fight that you could win that leg of the parlay. So if you do parlays, educate yourself on how to be able to be successful with UFC. On this channel, you could follow Mills. He does a UFC breakdown on every single week. There's UFC or fight night, so he does a really cool breakdown as well. But in my professional opinion, I think that is the only value in the UFC in the parlay market where you can get away with it. Let's answer some questions here. What do you do as a handicapper if situationally a team is the right side, but they are consistently awful at covering a spread? Is it better to pass?
So Al had an 8-star yesterday on UTEP plus 11 late, which ironically was playing the number 1 team against the spread, Sam Houston, against in so you could statistically have made that if you were looking at spread records, it's every game is a snowflake. If you're looking at which team has the better record versus which team has the better record, no, not at all. Because the problem is, here's the problem. The problem with the question is this. Nothing wrong with your question, sir. It's Big Dre again. Big Dre, when are you joining, man? The problem is I think everybody has a different definition of what a handicapper is. So let's get back to handicapping. Well, what's a handicapper? Somebody sitting in their basement watching all the reading everything viciously on the internet, forming their own opinion. Does that make them a handicapper? Or does somebody actually have analytics behind their handicapping? So when you look at someone like, for instance, I can only speak for, we'll use Al as an example, a professional handicapper that uses a database, which is his brain plus the computer. The only thing that matters in the end is the information, not your opinion. Like I was going to So everybody calls themselves a handicapper in 2026. Anybody can make a Twitter account or an Instagram account, call themselves a handicapper. So I think that a lot of people think they're handicappers and they're not even handicappers. Hopefully that makes sense. You can expound on that, Costi.
Yeah, I mean, it's so
like, I'm not a handicapper. I don't know shit.
Well, we're just answering the question as a whole. The way I interpreted the question was, hypothetically, if a handicapper is taking, like, hypothetically, not even hypothetically, it's happening. I'll give you hold on.
There's no right side situationally.
No, I think I'm reading it a different way. So hear me out. So a couple years ago, Al was bent on taking Pacific every single game.
Well, was his system, right?
That's a system. So situationally, it's the right side, but they're constantly awful covering, and they didn't cover often that year. But Al did not waver from taking them if it was the right side. So again, that I think the way the secondary part of that question will be, you can't focus on one game, and it's just one out of many. And you're playing your system, and no matter what, you're still playing the system that you have, and you're not deviating based on a small sample size of them covering. So I mean, them not covering, what does that mean? Does that mean they haven't covered the season? Does that mean they haven't covered in the last 10 seasons? So I think there's a couple different ways to answer that. Let me go to the next one here. I wonder how often in the NBA the games end up 3 points around the closing spread. I actually have the answer for you. So in the NBA, the games land on 3 5% of the time, which is actually 0.3 more than landing on 4. And then obviously the next one up, because I actually ran a report when you talked about this. So it goes the games land the most on 7 points. So 6.75 of all games land on 7 points. 6.61 land on 5 points. 6.35 land on 6 points.
You asked the right guy the question.
6.19 land on 8 points. 5.79 land on 3 points. And 5.76 land on 4. So the least amount of games land on 4 points. The margin of 5 to 8 is among the most frequent in the NBA overall. So it's the key numbers of 3 and 7 of how we discuss NFL and college football. In the NBA, you never really play to the number. So like in college football and NFL, everybody plays the game to be within 3 and 7 at the end of the game, knowing that they could have a field goal or touchdown to tie it. And obviously there's a variance there of 8, considering that they can get a 2-point conversion, but really 3 is a huge number in the NFL. It's why it's worth the most to come off of it. It costs you the most by sports books because everybody wants to play toward a field goal, which is a much different situation if it's 4. In the NBA, it doesn't really matter nearly as much because nobody's playing toward a number. Nobody's playing toward the 3. So there you have it. I hope I gave you a good enough answer there.
I was impressed.
Let's see. Next question. Only reason I do parlays is because the app gives you free money. Well, the only reason the app is giving you free money is because you're giving them money. The app doesn't give free money unless you're at a negative P&L for the year.
Or your lifetime or whatever.
Or lifetime. So you're not going to get free money. And they give you, and when you say free money, unless it's a host giving you free money, I understand. Obviously, you have to be a big enough player. If you're getting free bonuses, they're giving you $5 or $10 per parlay.
Sorry.
days. Next one up. You could parlay any sport, but the problem is people overextend themselves. You should stick to games you like, and you can get the number of legs for the wrong.
No such thing.
You can't parlay. Parlaying sports, parlaying basketball, parlaying football. It's simply, like I said, entertainment Powerball.
And that's cool.
And that's cool. I'm not taking anything away, but that's the reality. That is the reality. Let's see what's up next. I understand that same game parlays are bad, but they hurt your odds, which makes sense because same game events are correlated. Not always the case in baseball. You could do correlated parlays, but again, what does correlated mean to you? Does correlated mean you're betting the same events in the same game? Or are you correlating, like in baseball, the total to an underdog, whether it's over under, or the favorite and the over under? That's what real correlation stands for. And uniquely, the sports books do not allow it. They'll block you really quick with correlated parlays. Anything that, at the end of the day, if you're smart, meaning if you use a brain when you're making wagers every day with sports books, eventually you're going to get limited, whether you're winning or losing. And they're going to tell you that they'll take less action, meaning you're constantly getting the best price. You're betting in game. You're using your brain. When you're not using your brain and you wonder why the sports book has given you the same ability to bet as you wish for the existence if you had the account, most of the time, that means you're not using your brain and you're just betting without any real, I mean, I'm not talking about information. Just because you bet a game that somebody told you to bet that you may have purchased, that doesn't mean that the sports book is going to label you as you're using your brain. It's, for example, if you were able to do with what the Spurs happened yesterday and you bet the game over and over again, that is a good EV explanation that really wasn't meant to be EV. It just played out that way. But the Spurs in the under yesterday, due to previous night's experience of the Thunder players getting beat up on the court, knowing they had to play the following day, you were getting value with the Spurs regardless. Now, they benched a lot of players, and the spread went 10 points. And what did they do? They won by 10. So if you were a guy that waited closer to game time for the Spurs, you either pushed or lost. While if you bet the game early, you won on the total, which was a little bit of a sweat compared to the side, but you won the side and total. Costi, what's the best way to approach totals for NBA? Have a system. It's really it. You have to have a system that is not just something you generated this year that has years of data, because the unique part about the NBA that is everything is consistent, regardless of the players. Year after year after year after year, the teams trend the same. So if you have a system in place that has years of data that you're constantly updating and you're inputting new data in it, then that is a good approach for totals. But outside of that is having the right information. If you have the right team behind you that's giving you totals in the NBA, like I deal with, I represent Jay Yang on his VIP service, which means he rates his games 1 to 5. The guy's probably one of the best NBA totals guys I've ever met in my entire life. He specializes in that.
He's got 2 of them tonight.
And he is very good at totals. That is his wheelhouse. He's a numbers guy. He has a system. He's cultivated that system before he even came to PickDawgz for a decade. So He didn't just come to PickDawgz and say, hey, I'm going to create a system. He's already had it, and he wanted to put it into action. So just got to find the right person that has the right system, or call us, and I'll get you in touch with that product if that's what you're looking for. Big Dre again. Big Dre's always very active in here. I respect that. Not a question, but more of an observation. In the NBA, I think you are better at betting closer to the game time than early. Wrong. And I'm not. That it's hard to answer that because, again, that is a lot of the questions that you have, Big Dre, are based on emotion. There's no logic behind it. You said, I think. I think is an emotion.
Here, let me interrupt.
Go ahead.
I'm going to read this. So this is something I snagged off the internet. The role of market psychology in sports betting, avoiding emotional decisions. Ever find yourself riding high after a big win, only to give it all back in the next few wagers? It happens to the best of us, but there's a reason seasoned bettors always stress the importance of market psychology. If you want a clear edge in today's ever-evolving sports betting landscape, you can't just rely on numbers. You have to train your mind like a pro. Bettors who consistently profit are those who avoid chasing losses, celebrating wins, making impulsive bets. Instead, they stick with their system, trust their data, keep their emotions out of the decision-making process. Those three things that I just said in the dictionary, when you open it up, it says Al McMorty.
Yeah.
Common psychological traps: recency bias, overvaluing what happened most recently, whether it's a losing streak or a blowout win. Chasing losses, increasing wager sizes to make up for a bad beat, usually ends poorly. Overconfidence, letting a hot run cloud your judgment, turning solid plays into forced bets. Here's what I recommend, and I'm not going to tell you who wrote the article. Don't bet based on how you feel. Rely on proven systems. Keep your plays grounded in logic. When the urge kicks in to stray from your process, pause for a second and ask, am I making this decision based on an edge, or am I reacting emotionally? Bottom line, don't let emotions rule. Your bankroll will not be more profitable for it. Data and discipline win long term. Stick to the process, trust the numbers, and stay sharp. So, like this person that wrote this article was basically, I look for articles in trading psychology, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, whether it's sports. But I mean, there it is. Anytime you're using an adjective, I feel, I like, you lost. It's like I say it every show, every week, right? And the other thing regarding Big Red's question, the most important part of the question is the fact that he said in the NBA, you have to be agnostic. You have to not care what shape the ball is. You have to not care what sport it is. It's all the same. Go ahead. It's much easier reading somebody's stuff.
Yeah, no, I get it. Robert says, I'm up 30K of the year so far betting parlays. Great.
You're not up 30K for the year. You've borrowed 30,000 to then lose later at some point. It's not so the whole concept is if you take that money and go buy half a Bitcoin right now, I applaud you. And then just stick it in the wallet and never look at it for 10 years. Then you're up 30K for the year. If you, and I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just making a point. If you increase the size of your parlays, which is what most people do, because they need the dopamine isn't quite as, because first of all, when you're saying you're up 30K for the year, the year started on January 1st. So that's the first thing. The second, unless you mean the year as in the beginning of football season last year. The second thing is it doesn't mean anything because there's no reference to the overall picture. Did you start with $300?
This is so while you're talking, this is what his response. Bitcoin, I can't. Worst investment out there.
All right. See, there you go. You just said
you got to understand your demographic.
Investment is the worst investment. There you go. Now you know why all gamblers lose.
He said, I'm limited on sportsbook. Well, you're not limited from parlays.
No, you're not.
Because the sports books ultimately know if you they will give you parlay value. They will never limit you ever on parlays. But again, he said, do you know about stable coins? There's nothing more stable than Bitcoin. But again, we're having a conversation with somebody that we don't know.
The point is, when somebody says I'm up 30 grand, it's not relative to a return on risk or a percentage return on their account. So it doesn't matter. The dollar number is not real. It's just, until he withdraws the money, until he spends that money on something, he's not up anything. We all know this because we know if he runs his P&L for 2025 in those books that he's limited in, and I'm not saying there's not a unicorn out there that's up. But saying I'm up 30K, I deal with clients that bet 50K a game. So what? They could tell me they're up 50K when they win one game. Who cares? The guy that was texting me this morning has $400,000 in bets every single day, 365 days a year. Like,
I'll answer this one, Big Dre. My question is not about systems. It's more about NBA injury reports and culture these days, back to back, and players having load management. No, you're not wrong on any of that. And we're not specifically betting closer to game time, but when we don't do overnight betting for NBA. So personally, myself and my team, we do NBA the morning of. And for the most part, if you're able to have the right reach, you could find out which guys, based on history, don't play back ends of a back-to-back. The rest management and the load management does come up from time to time. And the way you overcome that is to have, again, it all goes back to the basics, proper money management.
So I'll give you an example. We have a group that does overnight lines.
But they don't do NBA.
I'm looking at, he started betting at 11:23 Eastern Standard Time.
What I'm saying is not to get it confused. Dre is talking specifically about NBA. So that group that you're talking about, Eric, used to do overnight pricing for NBA. He got away from that because of this exact question. It just wasn't worth it. The value of the EV wasn't worth it because there's so many opportunities that guys decided they don't want to play today, and it moves the line against us. So they were getting actually negative EV. So, but yes, keep going.
No, I was saying I'm looking at a game. He bet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games starting from 11:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time all the way to 11:38. So in a process of 13 minutes, and then it goes back to, would he bet the game today if the line moved? No, they're betting a line. They're not betting a game.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's got some, I'm not going to even say the line in the game because then you'll know what game it is. It's not fair to him unless you're a client. But, he beats all these numbers.
And you could explain, this is David. He was here
last
week. Yeah,
right. Exactly. So what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll see how, when he says I closed good, he's literally grabbing the open overnight. And then the second he hits it, it's gone.
Got a question. I've only been sports betting since April, but my main question would be, is it worth trying to get a better contract? I don't know what that means by live betting or deal with pregame market price. Again, I don't know what that means exactly. I guess rephrase that question. I don't understand what you're talking about, contract or pre-wager market pricing. I don't know. At the end of the day,
8:15.
the way that pro bettors, not handicappers, operate is what Eric just said. They're finding value. They're originators. They originate the price on the game. That means based on their system, before they even know what the going rate is from the screen that Eric is looking at right behind us on Don Best, he's able to create his own line. So if he believes the line is 8 with his system, and then he goes, let's say he believes his line is -8, and then he goes and he bets overnight. Now, the disadvantage of overnight for a guy like him, David Miller, he can't get enough money down because they limit you. Sportsbooks limit you for overnight pricing. That means he'll be able to get a total of max bet, I think a total of 3,000 on college basketball overnight. And then at 10 a.m. the following morning, he's able to get more down. But if he believed the line is -8 and he looks on his screen on the Don Best screen at 11:59 last night and it's -6, well, he has an advantage. He has a 2-point advantage versus his origination of the line. So now he looks at all the different sports books and he realizes, okay, well, somebody's giving me -5.5, plus 105. Somebody's giving me -6 even money. And now he's scalping and he's finding value on that particular game all over the board. It's not easy. This does take work, but that is what expected value plus EV bettors do. And they're doing this at a very high clip and very high volume capacity. So it does. It's going back to what Dimitri said earlier. He said, patience is key, but it's also very boring. That's what trading really is. It's not exciting. It does not have that parlay effect where you're getting a quick score. You're just constantly putting in, getting the best value. And then today comes. And now Dave looks at the game, and the game, let's say, tips off at 7 p.m. and the spread is -9. That's when Dave gets excited. Not for the game to win and lose. Obviously, it has to win in the long run for him to make money, but knowing that he got the better of the sports book. He was able to get the best of the sports book because he got it in at 6 or 5.5, and the line at post, it becomes 9. So, and post to Dave, like when he says he's betting post, he's usually betting post about an hour before game time. Let's see, next one. I brought this up on the morning show. How come your cappers never use referee assignments in your analysis? To me, it's the biggest determining factor in the over-under. How do you know they don't? Everybody has their own. All the handicappers on the morning show have a completely unique way to approach each games. How do you know they don't? They might not talk about it, but they also don't talk about a lot of games because a lot of them sell their best bets as premium picks. And it's not fair to the clients that purchase their daily programs. I mean, there's the live leaderboards for a reason. So we got through all the questions. Again, guys, feel free to ask. This is what we do here.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl. 3 out of the last 4 years, 3 out of the last 4 Super Bowls the dog has covered. I'm all over. I mean, when I say I'm all over, I haven't made a bet yet, but you know me, I take the dog 4.5 plus the 4.5.
I like the 4.5. The Super Bowl, to me, as a whole, as a bettable game, is entertainment. It's completely full-fledged entertainment to me. People put more emphasis on it. People like to bet, everybody gets in on the squares. And I'm not calling the square bettors, the actual squares you purchase. there's always a party for it. It's the commercials, it's the halftime show. So to me, it's strictly entertainment. It's the one game a year where I comfortably bet 10 to 15 parlays on the stupidest shit ever. On the dumbest. No, it's like basically like me playing Huff and Puff or Dragon Link slot machine. There's no edge. I'm just clicking a button. I'm just putting together what I feel, what I like, all the things we talk about that have no correlation to you being successful at making money in the business. I do for the Super Bowl. So unlike, we've been in this business. I think somebody asked earlier how long you've been in this business. It's 39 years for Eric. It's 15 years for me. So I've been in this business for longer than a decade. And through the legalization, all these Instagram gurus came out of the woodworks. So like they weren't around when I first
like my son's age. Like my son's gonna be 21. It's like watching my son on Instagram.
I wasn't around. Like none of that was there. And all these internet gurus have the same exact approach. I am betting the biggest bet in the world, the Super Bowl.
Max unit play.
Max unit, biggest bet, whale play, the biggest bet and hit because they know they could appeal to the chumps out there that believe in that BS. Like I had not to bring it up, but I had it's a good time to bring it up. So I had a client that was a subscriber of David Miller's Telegram channels. And he came back and, we tried to get him back into the fold because he was interested. And he basically wasn't the nicest guy to me. It was pretty rude. I get a text from him last night. I paid this guy M, which we know, the guy from Vegas. I'm not going to say his full name, not going to give him publicity. But I paid this guy M for the lock of the day, and it was his lock of the month. And I made $5,000 off of it. And he was like proud to tell me about this one game that he bet last night. And he was super excited about it. And it was funny because this guy actually happened to meet David Miller in person on one of the cruises over the last couple of years.
Wow.
And I don't think he's ever watched the Spencer Cornelia video. And Spencer Cornelia happened to do a video on this guy, M. And I sent him the video. I said, good luck, buddy. I said, this is why a sucker is born every single day, that you believe the individual game last night that you loaded up on is the solution. And you're probably going to get taken for a ride. This is why most sports bettors lose, because they anticipate oversized wagers and believe in hype. After you've met Dave and because it was too boring. Dave was too boring for him. He had to stay up late at night and put the bets in that Dave.
He only had 10 games last night between 11:23 and 11.
And it was not good for his lifestyle. And it was too much work that he had to stay up at late and put the games in. He just wants a big game a day.
But there's a gazillion of those guys. That's why they're there. I mean, look, like I said, that's just, you're not going to, we deal with less people for a reason. And the people we deal with, hopefully intellectually understand this. And if they don't, then they got to learn, I just opened up my Twitter account a second ago and somebody's bragging that they hit a $10,000 parlay but it's all props, right? Stuff that I would never even look at. This guy to score this amount of points and that guy to score.
Yeah. Every day.
Every day. Okay.
I mean, that's like I said, there's always, just like if I saw a Powerball ticket posted on the internet every single day with the winning numbers, it would not get me pumped or excited whatsoever. But like what you just saw,
it's crazy.
If I saw a parlay ticket that I know I could generate hypothetically with feeling and emotion for tonight. I could do the exact same thing that guy did. And that's why these sports books are feasting on the majority of the public that think they could take a little bit of money and turn it into a lot of money. And everybody thinks they're in for quick cash. Like there was a guy.
Somebody just posted an NBA Mega Lotto 20 leg.
No, the one I saw the other day was pretty phenomenal. It was a $2.59 bet for a payout of 66,000.
Did he win it?
No. Oh. So he had five or six NBA. So like just like in the NFL, there's first touchdown scorer. He had the first bucket scorer in the NBA. 5 guys to be the first ones to get the first bucket of the game. So think about the odds of that. You have to create 5 different independent situations and events across the country for one particular player on that team to get the first bucket of the game. Complete lottery ticket. And he didn't hit because the one guy that didn't hit for him actually took the first shot and airmailed it. Airball.
Yeah.
The guy was going nuts. But people see that. They're like, oh shit, I could do that. Which it's entertaining. Let me answer some questions here. We got 10 minutes. Question for Costi. How do you define top-down betting? So
there you go.
Top-down betting is actually not originating. Top-down betting means that you find the originators. So that requires screen reading. Same thing, going back to what Eric has in the background, Down Best. Based on sharp books like Circa and Bet Chris, you could really good top-down bettors could identify that sharp action was bet on this team, while these other books, the pricing's different. So really good top-down bettors are able to figure out that where the professional betting syndicates are betting and why, and then they're following their steam. They're not originators. So originators don't care about what other people are doing. And then there's people that know how to identify the originators. So it's advanced stuff. This is all sharp advanced stuff. This is not for the regular Joe to even learn. I had a person recently that subscribed to David Miller's Telegram channel, and I actually sent him the mentorship courses that we did before. That Dave doesn't actually do anymore because it takes too much time away from him actually betting, which is his main gig. And the gentleman reached out to me today and said, I don't understand it. I said, I told you, it's literally like learning another language. It is not for everyone. It is not for most. It's for the 0.001% in this planet that could actually be professional bettors. Most of them are not fans of the game. Most of them are not tuning into the morning show. They're all quants. We have a client that we're doing business with, Matt from New Jersey. He doesn't watch the games for the entertainment. He's watching the game for in-game pricing inefficiencies. And he's betting both sides, and he's scalping, and he's arbitraging. And most of the guys that are super high-end originators or top-down bettors are quants and nerds and don't watch the games, and they're not fans of the game. They never played sports. They never watch sports for entertainment. They don't go to the games. They're guys that sit behind screens. And there's I talk to a lot of them. A lot of them are in their 20s. I mean, I'm 43, you're 53. A lot of these guys that are top-down bettors nowadays are in their 20s. They're all crypto traders that have figured out a way how to trade sports. And it's fascinating because it's completely new to me even. Because you're just 15 years ago, none of those guys existed, Eric.
Right.
Let's see. Sam Darnold seeing ghosts to be said on the broadcast. Listen, like I said, Robert, everything I do in the Super Bowl is completely entertainment. It's like playing slot machine. Maybe I'll bet that for you. Let me know. Let's see. Okay, what I mean is sometimes your team may become a massive underdog mid-game. If I bet them while they are down and they come back to win, my expected value could increase. So pros, if they like a game pregame and they bet it and the team is down early, they'll bet that team again. They don't change their position. They're not trying to cash out or buy out. If they liked it pregame, they're going to like it in game if they're down. A lot of times I like this when it comes to baseball. If my side in baseball is down early, I like to bet them. I have a rule within the first 3 innings, if they're down a run or down 2 runs, I'll rebet them. But that is not something it's just my personal in-game bettable strategy that I've used for over the years. All right. Let's see. You were so right. I learned my lesson this morning using a 30% live boost on table tennis. Table tennis is the closest thing to smoking crack cocaine.
Oh, man, that's some
So
funny
if you like crack cocaine, bet table tennis.
That's some funny shit right there.
That's the closest fucking thing. It's so fast. It's like this. Bet it within 2 minutes.
Dude, I just went and saw. I took my son to see that movie, the table tennis movie. It's fucking good. You got to go see it. Damn.
What's that?
Somebody mentioned it. Table tennis. I can't believe I just saw it and I can't remember the name of the fucking movie. Marty Supreme. Marty Supreme.
I haven't seen it.
Man, it was fucking good. That's where he was hustling. Comes in there like he's a chomp, loses like the first 6 games in the pool hall, in the table hall, and he's purposely losing. It's fucking losing, handing the guy money, and they're all betting small. It's like $1 a game. This is like in the 1950s. Losing. The guy's like, fuck it, let's go 10 a game. And then he just smacks him. Like, it was great. Marty Supreme. You'll get your table tennis rush on that. Ping pong. They call it ping pong. Look it up.
I'm telling you, man. Anybody that bets on table tennis, it's like smoking crack. I guess if there's an edge, I mean, I don't have anybody in my networking 15 years career has a strategy for table. Now, we've had guys that were really good at tennis, but not table tennis. I guess you could bet. I mean, you could bet on anything.
Let's talk about but any other crazy exotics for the Super Bowl you want to throw out for free that you would play? Because we got
honestly, I haven't analyzed it.
3 minutes.
That's the thing. It's like, no, I haven't even looked. For me, again, there's no research. This is something I'm going to be. The game starts at 6:30. At 5:30 that day, I am going to create a blizzard of parlays in my account. That's the only thing I could bet in my legal accounts now.
Right.
I can't do straight bets. My max straight bet is $100. So there will be a very, very high volume, no EV parlay blizzard that is going to hit my account around 5:30 before the game. And we'll see what we could do. See if we can get lucky.
Wonder how many people had either one of those teams in the futures.
So if you had them in September, the odds were astronomical. If you had them to make the Super Bowl in September,
right?
Which, looking back, you're like, really? But yeah, I mean, like, going into the year, nobody had the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Nobody definitely had the Seahawks in the Super Bowl. They got rid of Geno Smith, which everybody thought was a mistake. They brought in Sam Darnold that they didn't think was going to be a needle mover. They got rid of DK Metcalf, which was the number one, and they put JSN in that number one slot. Nobody thought that was going to be a needle mover. And literally every single decision they made in the offseason, including the Patriots, got them to this point. They literally hit a home run on every decision they made with the draft, with the free agents, with the play calling.
And we bet if Seattle has the ball, if they're going to run or throw on the goal line.
All right. The trends stay the same.
I remember watching that game with my son when he was like 8 or whatever, however many years ago that was.
Hey, man, during COVID, I had one of my really close friends who's a pro he was really heavy into, what was that game?
Yeah, I know what you're
It
talking
wasn't
about.
Call of Duty. It was esports. It was can't remember. But he was crushing it. He was crushing it. I was like, look, just put me on it. There he is. Look, he's here.
There he is.
The insurance man. CSGO. It was probably CSGO. Yeah, it sounds familiar. Fucking terrible. Talking about watching paint dry. Worst in baseball. All right, guys. Well.
All right. Well, I'm playing. My free winner is to take the Patriots plus 4.5.
Figured you were the dogger. I'm with you as well. I don't think I see enough. And not saying might be a needle mover. I'm just saying, but having a key injury to, I think, the most talented player on the Seahawks defense, the rookie out of South Carolina, Umumwari, can't say his name. I don't know. He got taken off the field. He did walk off, but he got consoled. Again, if that guy's not 100%, he's basically Mike McDonald uses him like he used Kyle Hamilton on the Ravens. That guy does everything for him. If he's not 100%, I don't know. I don't know. But I'll go with the dog as well. So we're consensus here with the Pats with the points. All right, guys. We'll be back here next week with another edition of Tales from the Ticket. If you guys have any questions regarding any of the products that we offer or just want to chat about the opportunities that could make you become a client of ours, definitely reach out. The numbers listed right in the description. That being said, Eric, any last words?
Yeah, I learned something new today. For anybody that has multiple laptops, Apple laptops, if you have a third screen, either laptop can be used as the mouse, even the laptop that's not plugged into the screen. So I have one screen here that I'm looking at you on plugged into the laptop. Then I have this screen here, the Don Best screen. But if I run the cursor on the laptop, it'll go over to the other screen wirelessly. So you don't need a connection. It's like a magic mouse. You learn something new, even with the computers each and every day. I couldn't find the cursor. I'm trying to get back to the Don Best screen. I realized it was on the other screen.
No Fedora for the Tales from the Ticket?
Got to keep the videos. Got to keep it for the videos. Going through my Fedora.
And how many do you have?
I don't know. I'm going through them, organizing them so I don't play the
you don't do a repeat
the same way. Exactly.
You're like a very bougie woman now. You don't wear the same outfit twice.
There you go.
There you have it, guys. Check out the Dime Club every morning at 6 a.m. Eric posts a new fedora every single day. So that being said, guys, appreciate each and every one of you. Thought we were professional today. We weren't unprofessional.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Fair enough. So we don't have to be professional tomorrow because we were professional today.
There you go.
Everyone enjoy the Super Bowl, enjoy the fun. But if you want to take it seriously, reach out to us.